Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is August 18th, 2021. It's a Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. Dare I say it's a hump day? I'm going to go for it. I said it. It is humid. It is hot here in Chicago. I even went for my run this morning, somewhat early. I didn't go as early as I normally do. The kids aren't here. So I've been kind of rearranging my schedule, been a little bit more flexible. I went for a run later in the morning, 9 something ish, maybe 10. It was really hot. It's significantly different running, even just a couple hours later in the morning than I'm used to. So I have been struggling with it a couple of days. I still also think I'm just tired from the weekend, a race, not like a race level hard, but I ran hard. It was a nice hard run. So legs are definitely feeling a bit sore today, and it's a lot hotter and a lot more humid than I'm used to, but I'm hanging in there. How are you guys doing? How's everyone on the podcast in the audio only version? Hopefully you're listening to this while you're on your run, very early in the morning or very late in the evening, where the temperatures are a bit more bearable. And everyone watches this on YouTube after the fact. Hopefully you're sitting back at a time during the day where you have a nice recovery beverage. I've got some noon today. Some noon because I'm still just very thirsty. I feel like every time I travel, normally I blame it on a lot of times when I travel, I used to travel to Arizona a lot for work. And then sometimes I travel to California, places that are drier than the Midwest. And I would always blame it on that. But I just think that just being in hotels, being in airplanes, just really, and just away from my normal schedule really dehydrates me. So I've just been very thirsty, incessantly thirsty. So cheers to you guys. I'm going to make sure I still stay hydrated. So on that note, before we get started today, I want to talk about some programming for this week. So tomorrow, speaking of feeling dehydrated, I got some new scratch products coming in that just came in today. But we'll test them out for tomorrow. These are super interesting on 2 different levels. Some scratch stuff. We'll try that tomorrow for happy hour. So stay tuned for that. And then on Friday, I just finished scheduling it today. I'm going to have Tommy Runs as a guest for Friday. Tommy, I met over in Boston. He was one of the people that ASICS flew out for the weekend. It was my first time meeting him, and we talked, and I was like, you got to come tell us your story on the live stream. So he's going to be on Friday. So you get a chance to meet him, talk to him, ask him some questions. He's out of Detroit. So that's what's going on Thursday and Friday. So those are some programming notes. And for that Friday, tomorrow night, my wife's going to pick me up after work, and then she's going to bring me to Iowa. So I'll be going to Iowa for the weekend, and then coming back with the family on Sunday. And then it's then it's race week, because then I got the triathlon. So lots of stuff happening. Yeah, we're packing in as much as we can towards the end of the summer. All right. Who we got here in the chat? We got Charles Ventura says, hey, it's been a while since I tuned in live, but I've been catching the audio only version. Well, awesome, Charles. Good to see you again. And Frank says, Chicago back to mandatory masks indoors, even if you're vaccinated. Yeah. I saw that today. And I mean, I don't remember if I send it to usually my wife and I send this stuff back and forth to each other, but we all watch the same, she and I watch the same news. So it's we each know what's happening. But, the way I see it is my wife and I, we've pretty much been doing that already. So it doesn't change much for us. But the one thing that I did think was interesting was I've been going to a gym with the pool, and I'm like, our pool's going to shut down again? I hope gyms aren't going to shut down. How are they going to do that? Are they going to make people wear masks in the gym still, or do that again? I'm not sure. I mean, that must mean that they're not going to be able to have pools anymore. So I'm not sure. It starts Friday. So I'm going to get in one more swim today and one more swim tomorrow, I guess, while I still can. And then who knows what's going to happen after that. This thing, Nathan sent this thing to me. And it's got 2 little spouts, one little spout and then one big spout. The little spout's too little and the big spout's too big. It's just only thing about this thing. I'm just very thirsty today. All right. Mark Saltzman says, I need a good recipe for protein smoothies. Any suggestions? My wife makes all the smoothies at home, and my kids make the smoothies too. I just have to clean up the mess afterwards. So I don't have any recipes, but I'm sure there's someone here that's got some good ones. Jacob says, is the Mach 4 a good shoe? It's a very good shoe. It's one of my favorite for the year, and I actually just ran in them today. And it says, hi, Kofuzi and everybody. 5K tonight with Pip after last month's mountain biking and Monday's Tabata. Cool. Good to be back at it. Nice. Very nice in this. And oh, here we go. PG says, how's it going? Got a 10K PB of 45:12. Nice. Good job with the PB. Great job on the 10K. Awesome. Very, very happy to hear about that, Pete. And thanks for sharing that with us. David Litstone is back. What's going on, sir? How are you? And let's see. Kyle Patton says, howdy, folks. 5 miles in the piggy bank today. Longest run since surgery. Awesome. That's great as well. Let's get another cowbell for that too, because we got that's kind of like a new kind of long run PR. So really glad to hear about that, Kyle. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna skip down because I think I'm way behind you guys in the chat, so I want to stay keeping up with you guys. All right, let's see. Stevie Simmons6 says, I love big spouts and I cannot lie. I do. It has to be the right size. This is, I think for the most part, it's a good size. The little spout that's on this thing, it works when I'm like on an airplane or in a car. So if it's something moving, then it's good because it doesn't splash all in your face. But when you haven't been hydrating properly and you're really thirsty like I am, got to go with the big one. All right. Carlos Sing Along says, howdy. ASICS weekend convinced me to spring for the MetaSpeed Sky. It's a good shoe. I didn't think everyone was going to be wearing them. And from what I saw from like the ASICS people, so in that area that we were in the beginning and then the buses that we took down, it wasn't just like the ASICS. It wasn't like the people that ASICS had flown in for the weekend. ASICS was also doing a lot of work with a local retailer called Marathon Sports. So a lot of people that were there were Marathon Sports people, and then there was us media, and then there was like ASICS people as well. So there was a mix of people, and like I think the goal for the weekend was to have everyone in kind of like black shorts, white tops, but like different groups had different levels of nice tops. They gave us the nicest ones. So I felt very, very special about that. And then there was like different levels of shoes that were provided that were there as well. I was trying to think. I don't remember if I bought the MetaSpeed Skies myself or not. I for the most of the weekend I thought, oh, it's a good thing I bought these. But then I was thinking, I think they might have sent them to me. I think they did send them to me. So yeah, it didn't matter to me that much because that's a fun shoe to race in. It's going to be either that or the Adios Pro 2 when I run Chicago, one of those two. But it is really good, and a lot of people did really well in them over the weekend. All right, where'd it go here? Something about Aditya Roy says prepping for a 10K and finished 8.4K in 1 hour. All right, there you go. You're getting closer. I think that if you could do the 8.4, the 10K is within reach for sure. All right, Shannon says, hi, Conco. Hiding in the clean lab to catch a few minutes of the live stream. Nice. I remember when I used to work in lab in the morning, and I wouldn't do it to listen to a live stream, but when I lived in St. Louis summers are ridiculously hot. I'm not good at the summer. I just wilt. I'm like a delicate little herb and too much heat, and I'll just like shrivel up. But like, it would be so hot, even getting to work early in the morning, that just from where I parked my car, the walk from the air conditioning in my car, then walking to the lab was so hot that I would usually spend the first 5 minutes at work inside like the walk-in fridge, like where we kept all our like different supplies and stuff. Like it's just this giant refrigerated room. I would just stand in it for a couple minutes because it would just be too hot. That looks like Martha's here. Hi, Martha. How are you? And Ray, he got his Nova Blast 2s yesterday, and he first run in them this morning. Awesome. Hope you enjoyed it. Here we go. There it is. The start of a beautiful friendship. Nice. It's such a good shoe. I'm a big fan. Yeah, Mark says, it would be pretty funny if everyone went with Next Present at the ASICS event. Yeah, like most of the time, like, when you do these things, people kind of figure out, what you should and shouldn't kind of wear for the weekend. This one, like, they did kind of like, I don't know if they've had problems with it before or what, but they did kind of like specify, like, just guys, make sure you're not wearing any competitor brands. But for the most part, kind of go, it's something that doesn't really need to be said, that like, if a brand is bringing you out, there's certainly times when like maybe you don't have like one of everything. Like I think if it was a brand like that doesn't like, I mean, like craft would be hard, like rabbit. I think for me, I think I could do it now, but it would have been harder like last year because I just didn't have as much of it, and maybe they don't have as large of like a library of stuff, you know. So like in that situation, like, you know, a lot of times they're like, well, just try to have stuff that's non-branded if you have to wear other stuff. Sometimes is what I'll hear, but you know, yeah, that you would probably not be invited back if you did something like that. All right, Madridi guy says, I stopped running for 1 month due to the hot and humidity. It's so hard to get back to. So how to get back to my old fitness? Your advice, please. I would say like, you know, ease back into it. Don't just think like, hey, this is where I left off. This is where I'll pick back up again. I'd say that there is, I mean, right now it's still hot, right? So if you're going to get back to it, that heat is going to be an additional strain on your body. Like I think like intuitively understand, like if it's a windy day, it's hard to run fast. If it's hot, it's hard to run fast. You know, so that's another thing to keep in mind. But build back to it. Now, depending on how long you've been running, a month off isn't going to be a huge deal. If you'd only been running for 3 months to begin with, a month off can be, you know, a pretty big setback, but you won't be starting from nothing. You know, your body remembers those things. So, you know, ease back into it. Have some, you know, be gracious to yourself and don't be hard on yourself for like any perceived lack of fitness. You know, usually it bounces back relatively quickly, but there is usually some sort of kind of readaptation period. I was listening to, I think it was Jason Fitzgerald's strength running podcast, and he was talking to, I didn't finish listening to the interview, but he was talking to someone, it was about sleep, but it was someone who does coaching. And he says he kind of has two categories of athletes, or two kinds of coaching that this guy provides. And one is high performance and other is peak performance. And, you know, Jason was like, what's the difference? Well, high performance is, you know, high performing athletes, kind of elite athletes or, you know, sub elites. But peak performance is about reaching a high level. And to reach that peak, that also means like there must naturally be some sort of dip as well. And so talking about like after a peak race, you will relax, let the body recover a little bit, and you'll lose some of that edge that you were at. But those are also natural parts of kind of like the flow of your fitness over the course of a year and multiple seasons. So like, don't, you know, people go in phases all the time. It's okay. But just ease back into it, and you'll get back. You'll get back there. All right. Martha says Marathon Sports. She's familiar with Marathon Sports. It has all the Adidas Boston Marathon Special Edition stuff. Very nice. Very cool. Yeah, I had never heard of. I probably should have, but I'd never heard of Marathon Sports before this weekend. But I'm, you know, I'm not that familiar with the Boston area. I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know, people were like, "Is this your first time in Boston?" I'm like, "Oh no, I've been to Boston a bunch of times." And then like over the course of the weekend, I was like, I think the last time I was in Boston was when I was visiting Boston University to decide whether or not to go there for college. So I was like, "Oh, I think I went here last century." So it's been a while since I've been back in Boston, I think. I'm trying to think if there's been another time that I've been there, but I can't really recall. Jeff says, I want to live somewhere where it's only hot and humid for a month. Jeff, I think where you are, it's hot and humid all year round, though. I think, right? Yeah. It's more than hot and humid. It's hot and humid for more than a month, even up here as far north as Chicago. All right. Let's see what else we got. Scott says, I ran in the Rebel V2 today, and now I can watch your review. Yeah, it's a really good shoe. Like I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, I think I came off like I was hard on the shoe, but like I was expecting it to be like, boom, one of the best shoes I've run in this year. It's a really, really good shoe, but like, I don't know. Is it one of the best? No. Will it be in the top 5 for its category? Maybe. What category do you put it in? I'm not sure. But it's really good. It's really nice. I think I'm gonna get to 100 miles in it really fast. But I was really expecting with the Rebel version 2 that it was going to be a fuel cell TC without the plate in it. It's kind of what it is, but not. It's more like a beacon, but with fuel cell. And I don't know if I'm like splitting hairs at this point, but I was expecting something more like the fuel cell TC. I got an update. The RC Elite 2, which was supposed to be sent to me like at the beginning of the summer. Now we're like nearing the end of the summer. I got an email today saying like, "Hey, you should be getting it soon. Let us know when you get it." So like, I don't know. I hope the RC Elite 2 is the New Balance shoe that I've been looking for this year. But we'll see. We'll see. The Fresh Foam More version 3 is the New Balance foam that I didn't know I wanted. Now I just want the shoe that I've been wanting from New Balance all year, which is the RC Elite 2. We'll see. Hopefully we'll get that soon. All right. Keith Cruz says, in today's video, you mentioned you wouldn't like the Rebel 2 for long runs. Could you elaborate why and what would be your choice instead? I just think that I would feel like some of that road feel would get too, like it would hurt after a while. So the same problem that I had with the RC Elite version 1 was it's a super fun shoe. I love it for like 8K, 10K, up to half marathon. But for me in the RC Elite version 1, at about the hour mark in the shoe, like it started to hurt underfoot. And I just wanted a little bit more softness. And that's the sense that I was like a lot of deja vu when I was running in the Rebel version 2, was that like, this feels great. But like, I think on a run and I ran, so 10 miles, I don't know how long that took me. I think it took me like an hour, I don't know, 20 something minutes. So I didn't feel any of that problem, but like, so it didn't have the RC Elite 1 problem, but I was like, yeah, if I had like another 5 to 7 miles to go, I think that it would have been a problem. So that's where I just feel like I would like it for shorter workouts and like regular length runs. My regular runs are like 6 to 8 miles. So like most of my runs are in that range. So like there, it's easy choice. But if I have to run, like if it's a Saturday run, I'll probably run with something that has even more stack height, just for my preferences. All right. Let's see. La Pizza is back. I love that. And every time I see this picture, he's got a picture of like someone like serving a slice of pizza. It makes me want to eat pizza. Now I'm hungry. La Pizza says, what should you recommend for a road race? 5K or slash FKT for 5K or under. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff that you can run in. I think right now, the shoes that I have, I mean, the Rebel version 2 would actually be a really good choice. I like the Liberate from Puma as well. That's a fun one. Really low stack height. Really great pinginess. There's like a really just really quick rebound to it. Not exactly a soft shoe, but like a bounce, so I like that. And then I would probably look at, even stuff like the RC Elite version 1, which I talked about, Meta Racer, Speed Elite from Skechers Performance. All those shoes that I talk about that I can't run a marathon in, but are fun carbon plated shoes, those are the ones that I would look for a 5K. And which one I pick of those would probably depend on, what kind of course is this? Is it going to be like, switchbacks, like out and backs, or is it going to be a long loopy course? Is it going to be rolling hills? Some of that might change some of it because some of those uppers are better than others. But those are some that I would look at too, like Endorphin Pro, Adios Pro 2. Those are also B1s, even though they're a little bit taller stack height for 5K. I think those would work well for me as well. All right. Luis says New Balance 1080 version 10 snug in Jackrabbit is at $80, but it's 11.5 US size and I'm 11. Should I give them a try? I did really like the version 10. I think I liked it a little bit more than the version 11. And I don't know. I think that you should give it a try. I think that going up half a size is going to be okay with that one. All right. Looks like Greg Itahara is here. What's going on, Greg? Good to see you. I've got my Itahara Customs sticker with me today. What I've realized is like I don't have places to put stickers really, I need more places. I mean, I guess I could just put them back up here. I mean, my kids are putting their stuff up here, so maybe I get that stuff too. But like, when I bought this scratch stuff today, there was a really nice scratch sticker in there. I got a really nice Falmouth Road Race sticker. I get every time I get something from Believe in the Run, they send like a patch, a pin, and stickers. I don't know if that happens to you guys too, but they send it to me. So I've got all this stuff that I want to like, feature somewhere. I just don't know where to put it all. And you know what the other thing I was thinking about is like, not that we need more ways to spend money in running, but I kind of wish there were some more ways to spend money on running. Like there's like, that's not like I'm looking for like trading cards or something, but like, I don't know, maybe NFTs are the way to go, but like some collectibles, I mean, we could showcase like our favorite shoes and stuff like that, but I don't know. Maybe I mean that's a weird problem, for very first world problem to have. Is like I need more things I can spend money on. But like I just here's where I was going with that. I was watching the show. I was flipping through the channels today, and Wheeler Dealers was on. You guys ever watch that show? Really strange show. But he went to a car show and he was trying to sell a restored like 1972 like Volkswagen Beetle. And I was like, oh, that's a nice little collector's item. That's fun. Not that I want to spend $6,000, or he was trying to sell it for 7,000 pounds or something, but I don't know. I'm ranting or not, or just rambling, not ranting, rambling. So sorry. But like, yeah, I mean, there's like if you're a baseball fan, you can collect, I guess I could try and collect signatures and stuff, but that's kind of weird. Like I remember growing up, there used to be these books at the school library, and in them, there would be addresses of celebrities and you can write to them like a pen pal. And they would send you back things that they would like respond to a letter and like give you their autograph. Like we need like a directory like that, but for like pro athletes, pro track runners and marathoners. I want that like weird Rolodex. Did anyone else experience that? Or is this something that I'm imagining? I don't know. All right, Kyle Patton's back. He was dragged away for a second, but he made it back to the live stream. Good. Greg says, Kofuzi, have you seen the Tin Man Elite Adidas Out of Zero Boston 10? Thoughts? I think it looks great. I feel like, I mean, frankly, what I think about it is Tin Man is hard for me right now. I just feel like the whole situation was handled really weird, and I didn't like it. And it kind of took me a while to come around to Tin Man to begin with. But like a lot of the athletes that I was like, oh, I like some of these other athletes like Sydney, have left, and the coach, they kicked out. So I have a hard time with Tin Man right now. I kind of feel like they tried to make like it looks to me like an Olympics colorway. Cause it's got like that gold trim. It's beautiful. I really like that Boston 10, but like I won't buy it because there's the Tin Man logo on it. I want to like those guys. Sometimes they make it hard to like them, I think. I don't know why I dislike it so much. I like the concept. I like the training group, but there's just something in the execution that I think is weird. Is that wrong? I don't know. Maybe, am I being hard on them? I don't know if I'm being hard on them or not. Daniel M says, what about like collectible pins designed to hold the race bibs on the singlet? I mean, I guess we've all got medals and stuff, but it's not like, if I were, I don't know. I was just trying to think about it. Also, the other thing that made me think about it was because I was like, there was the Field of Dreams game that was in Dyersville recently. And they just announced, or they didn't announce, but like word got out that they're going to do it again next year, but next year I think it's going to be with the Reds and the Cubs. Did I have that right? I'm not sure. So like, there's just memorabilia is very different in the running space. And maybe that's a market that will kind of mature as like the sport gets more popular. John says he puts all the stickers on the standing desk at work. See, I don't have I do have desks at work, but like, I needed them to be cleaner, so I couldn't do that. Martha says, Kofuzi, was that breakfast coffee place where you met Remy? Very good. Tat? I think it's Tate. Like latte, but Tate? I'm not sure. I enjoyed it a lot. It is kind of like a fancier, like we have corner bakery here, so it's like I don't know if that's everywhere, but it's kind of like a fancier corner bakery, not quite as like pretentious as a, what is it, Le Pain Quotidien, like that kind of place. Not quite as like weird as like that. But I really enjoyed it. They had a lot of really great pastries and stuff there. But they're kind of, there's multiple locations in the Boston area, but I enjoyed it. It's kind of like a very nicer, it's like a nicer fast casual, because like they'll bring you your food, but you know, you order at the register kind of thing, which I feel like works for me for breakfasty stuff. But I mean, for breakfast, I love New Jersey diners. That's my biggest favorite. Charles Ventura says, "Are the Rebel version 2 as unstable as Noblast version 1? I had problems with the Nova Blast, but have no problems with other NutriShrews like the endorphin speeds. They're not unstable at all. So like it feels like they're going to be, because there's a lot of squishing that happens, but it all like moves well. Like it moves together. It feels like it's almost hydraulic. It's very controlled in terms of the squish. So it's a flexible shoe. So that might throw some people off, but even then I'll just like, it's flexible. It's not fighting me at all. It's not trying to have some sort of torsion system in there, but I felt like, wow, there's a remarkable amount of stability for me in this shoe. So it was, yeah, I would not be concerned about the stability in it. At least that was my experience in it. So it was a surprise, definitely a surprise. And it said it was good to see you were able to catch up with Remy, Mike. Yeah, it was good. You know, because he was like, he messaged me over. Is Remy here? He messaged me over over the weekend, and I was like, oh, we got a pretty busy like calendar for like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I'm like, we have nothing scheduled for Monday morning. But I'm like, you probably got to work. But he has his summer hours, or he gets Mondays off, so it worked out perfectly. He also invited me. He did a open water swimming clinic before he met me, and I was like, I totally should have done that. But you know, I was like, I did bring goggles and my swim cap, but I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna be racing the day before. I'm not sure how well I'm gonna be able to handle some open water swimming at like 6:30 in the morning the following day. So I did skip out on that. So I took a complete rest day on Monday, and Remy swam in the ocean for a while before meeting me. So he totally had me beat fitness wise that day. Richard Murray, what's going on, Richard? How are you? He says, you're all over the world now. Are you doing loads of running events now? I mean, you're one to talk. You've been to Tokyo. You were in South. Are you in South Africa now? You were in the Netherlands. So you've been all over as well. I'm trying to do more running events. I enjoy covering it that way. I just think that resonates better with the audience here. And, you know, I'm not going to cover it like a regular journalist. I don't want to cover an event like a regular journalist. So like, yeah, I'm hoping to like kind of leverage some of like the recent events and start kind of like pitching that idea. I pitched another race about something similar to that, you know, and I was like, here's some previous work I've done. I've worked with, you know, Chicago Marathon and Nike. I've worked with Hoka in the Western States. I've now worked with Asics and Falmouth. So I'm hoping that like, you know, my dream is to eventually become the guy that they send to the Olympics to compete against the Olympians and just gets embarrassed. So if I keep working my way up, that's the goal of maybe one day they will let me do something like that. I mean, that's not really the ultimate goal, but I just feel like it's a great way. I think it works on a lot of levels, because then like if you're a title sponsor, you know, then you get more kind of like you can better leverage your sponsorship, or if you're an event, you know, you can get more publicity out for your event. And I enjoy these kinds of adventures as well. So that's kind of one of the things that I'm like hoping to do more of. So yeah, I mean, like if anyone knows someone at Comrades or at the, what is that half marathon in England? The Great North Run? No, that's like a 50 mile or something. That's North Downs Way is the long one. I don't want to do the long one, but there's a really big half marathon in England that I'd love to be able to do. If anybody knows anybody, put me in touch or plant that idea in their head, because I'd love to do more events. Right. It was good to see you, Richard. And I love the behind the scenes from the Olympic Village. I was living vicariously through you. It was so awesome. Thank you so much. Did you guys see Richard's uh Instagram stories? It was so much fun. Look who else we got here. We got Dr. Josh is in here. He says, "What's up? What up, Kofuzi fam? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. I was just checking out some of your content on Instagram today." Story on Running says, "Hi Kofuzi, big fan of yours. I have a random question. Would you ever consider trying out and reviewing Asian brand shoes that are not well known in the States, like Leaning, Xstep, Be My, etc.? You know, it's something that I occasionally get like invited to do, but I'm not super interested in it yet, because like I'm not super into like trying to get stuff in like really early. Like one of the things that I will be doing soon, I think, is that Speedland shoe that's been making the round. It's like a $300 shoe made for trail running. It's got like a double BOA system to it. It's got a removable carbon fiber plate. It's just got like all sorts of technology in it. Like they've asked me like 3 or 4 times, and then Thomas at the Believe in the Run has asked me a whole bunch of times to review it, and so I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But like, I don't know. Like, for some reason, I like to be an early adopter with technology, but I don't necessarily want to be an early adopter with shoes all the time. And so I think a lot of that comes from a place of insecurity. To be completely open about it, is like, I don't want to be like, review this shoe and think like it's super great, and then everyone's like, what? It was terrible. I mean, I would still think that everyone was wrong, but like, it's I fight enough battles, and I don't want to have to fight additional ones. So I think that's kind of where I'm at on that. Is I generally don't love to be a early adopter for shoes. All right. Mark says about the events, it's pretty fun and cool to see you go to these events like the A6 thing and the Believe in the Run opening. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that what it does is like, it works not only for like the stakeholders involved, like immediately, like the brand or the event that's happening, but also to just kind of, show more of like, where this is who we are, and this is what we do. We're runners. We run a lot. We train a lot. Good weather, bad weather. We obsess over it, but we have to balance it with lots of other things in our daily lives. And then one of the ways that we get to celebrate, this running is by when we get together, and when we congregate. And so like, I'm hoping that that's like, ultimately it also moves like the entire sport forward too, in terms of like there being like a culture of like, these are the things that runners do, right? I mean, like baseball fans go to baseball games, basketball fans go to basketball games or watch it on TV. We can't always watch things on TV. I mean, we're starting to get more of that now, but what we do is we go to events, and we can make them family weekends, or we could just go and meet up, old friends or internet friends or any combination in between. So that's kind of some of like the other longer term goals for it too. And I think that just by going and experiencing these things and showing that there's more to it than just like your local fun run. Not that there's anything wrong with a local fun run or a park run. Those are fantastic things, but that's kind of another one of my goals. Lewis says, "Hey, Co, it's been a minute. What's going on, Lewis?" Says, "Jealous of me getting to meet you. Ran my first ultra in Rhode Island over the weekend with no training. What? That's crazy." He says 34.3 miles in 17.5 hours. Great job. Awesome. Well, if you completed it, and since it was the first one, that is certainly a PR. So great job, Lewis. Yeah, there's got to be more story to that. How did you get into your first one with no training? That's crazy, but man, that's awesome that you were able to finish. All right. Michael Martinez says, "Hi, Kofuzi. Took your advice and ran it in a pair of Alphaflys. Very impressive. Should I run in them for the Berlin Marathon?" I think it's a pretty good choice. It's a nice flat and fast course. I don't think that there's like a lot of cobblestone along the courses there. So I think that like that would be my only concern. I'm trying to think, like I thought I saw some portions of the course that were like on brick, but if it's smooth brick, it'll be fine. But like, I can't imagine there'll be a ton of cobblestone for a world marathon major, but like that'd be the only one thing. But I think, I think you're going to be fine for it. If you like them, then yeah, then you should go for it. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get a couple more in. Mohammed Bajai says you should visit your fans in Europe. Berlin Marathon is next month. Why don't you visit? I mean, I would love to. I was thinking that like, now's a good time to probably start planning for potentially some events, like maybe first quarter or early second quarter in Europe, and try to find some races that we can go to. But I don't know if it's feasible or wise or prudent to start planning. I'm not sure like what the travel situation is to Germany, for example, from the US or vice versa, or to the even to the UK. I mean, that'd probably be the first trip because I just think it's closer. The time zone difference for me is a little less onerous. It's a bit more manageable of a trip, and so I would think that like probably the first European trip for me would be like London, and then I'd love to see the unicorn tapestries in Scotland. So that's something that I'd want to see as well. And I know that there's a couple of potential events that could be, right? So that I would love to be able to try to line that up with, like London Marathon would certainly be one. And then that half marathon that I was just talking about, but the name's eluding me, could be another one. And then I feel like there is a big event I saw, like it was a couple of years ago, where I saw a whole bunch of content where it basically looked like a big marathon expo, but with no marathon. And I feel like it's not called the running event, because that's an expo. That's a retailer's expo here in the United States. But there was something like that. And I felt like FOD Runner was there, and a whole bunch of other like UK based like running podcasters, YouTubers, and Instagram people were all there too. And I was just like, oh, they're all getting to meet. This is awesome. I want there to be something like that in the US. And I don't really think that there is. So yeah. So like I feel like maybe on an event like that, that could be something else to work out. So like, I guess I got to figure out what dates those things are. And then I think the responsible thing for me to do, or I guess not responsible, but the practical thing for me to do would be to try to reach out with some brands. And like, for example, if it was that like expo, is to try to figure out if there's a brand that has the ability to put me in like with like some sort of space where I could do like a live stream from the event, or kind of off campus from the event, because a lot of times those things are like 9 to 5, and then there's stuff that happens in the evenings. I don't know about that event, but when I'm talking about like just conventions generally, so like that's kind of like some of the stuff that I'm trying to think of, like how can we start doing these kinds of things, level it up just a little bit from like I bought a ticket and went and ran this race to like, how can I like make it even more of like, not a spectacle, but make it even more of it. So my wheels are turning. I'm not good at planning these kinds of things, but trying to start think in those kinds of ways. So hopefully we'll be able to start doing some of this kind of stuff. And then if all else fails, I could just buy a ticket and go over there, so there's always that too. David Cowan says about that Speedland, he's like, I'm totally interested in it. The price puts me off a bit, but I've spent that much before. Yeah, I mean, I think that like their approach to it is like it's like equipment, like it's equipment like like in the bicycling world, you're not just buying a shoe, you're buying equipment, and a lot of it costs a lot. But also like in the skiing world, snowboarding, in the mountain kind of just outdoor space, there's lots of equipment, not just like consumable things like shoes that you're paying a lot more for. I mean, this is still kind of shoes, but I don't know. So there's a lot of it that I'm like, I'm not sure about, and I'm really trying to reserve judgment until I put them on my feet and get a chance to test them. The biggest thing is I'm like, where do I go to test it properly? I can't test those in Chicago. It's going to be a waste of everyone's time. So I got to figure out like, maybe I need to make like a weekend trip somewhere and go somewhere where the terrain is a little bit more rugged. so I can really test it out. So I gotta do some planning on that too. Stevie 76 at the end of the Falmouth Road Race, Robbie looked like he was gonna barf. He almost did barf. It didn't just look like he was gonna barf. He was going to barf. We waited for a couple minutes for him to kind of settle down a little bit. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I mean, not that I'm enjoying it, but it was pretty funny. Mandy Perea LeBlanc says, "Hello, all. I feel like I'm tardy for class." Oh no, there's no like set time. So whenever you guys get here, it's awesome. Good to have you here, Mandy. All right. Yeah, Jeff Elliott says like that Speedland shoe looks like it's something made for sky running, like a Solomon shoe. Yeah, I mean I think it's made for a someone that really. I feel like another part of it, it's made for someone that really knows what they're doing, which in the trail space I don't always really know what I'm doing, so that's where I'm kind of like a little bit concerned about it. My understanding is like they have extra long lugs on them, and the idea is that you can clip them if like for a race like that you don't need really really long lugs. Maybe it's a more runnable course, as they say in the trail world. But I think they've been telling people to just clip them to begin with because they're just a little bit too long. So we'll see. I'm not really good at that kind of stuff. What I love about the shoe world right now is here's what this shoe is. Take it or leave it. Like love it or don't. But this is it. This is it. Like I think of them as like golf clubs or knives. I don't get mad at a paring knife for really being a really bad boning knife, for example. But with these things where you can like customize them and stuff, it gives me, I get paralyzed by choice a little bit. And so that's kind of where I get a little bit like, so I've got to like kind of try to put some of my own kind of like things. Here's the things that I'm not good at that this is asking me to do aside, and try to view it from like, okay, who's this for? Someone is asking for this, look at it from that person's perspective. That's what I'm trying. Yeah, Corey Allen says, just read that Scott Jurek attempted another Appalachian Trail FKT for under 40 days. He did it in 45, but he got hurt in week 1 and pulled the plug. Yes. So here's the thing on that. So like I'd seen that and I was getting really excited about it because I mean it's just the Appalachian Trail. That's something closer. That's something that I'd heard of. Like even when I really wasn't that into running, like just growing up on the East Coast, people had mentioned it because of proximity. And I'd seen that he was going to make another attempt because he had the FKT, he lost it, but he felt like he had some unfinished business and wanted to, pick up some of that time he had left up on the table. And I was actually going to be working with, because he brought a Wahoo watch with him. And so like Wahoo reached out and was like, hey, do you want to help us promote this thing that he's doing in any way? And I was just like, yes. So we were in like preliminary talks in terms of like what that looks like. Do we talk to like some of the people that are coaching him? Do we, all that kind of stuff? Like, what are some of like the ways we can do some collabs on that? And then like the next day, like 3 days after, like Wahoo had reached out to me, I see like that I think he ruptured his quad, something pretty serious. And so I'm like, oh, he's not coming back from that. So yeah. Yeah. Dami says, hi Kofuzi, did that 28K last weekend, like I said, but the RC Elite 2 really destroyed my run. Oh no. Really ended up hating that shoe after 20K. It became sluggish, too much energy loss, and no carbon pop. All right. Well, I will definitely take a look. I should be getting mine soon. It's a bummer that it didn't work for you. I'll have to check out on that. I'll keep an eye on it for like the 20K mark. All right. Frank says, if you're gonna like talking about the Jurek Appalachian Trail FKT attempt, if you're gonna fail at something like that, fail early. I suppose that's one way to look at it. I mean, like, is it worse that he failed early, or would it have failed? It would have been worse if he failed like 37 days in. I'm not sure. Dr. Josh says, anyone know any fast half marathons in the beginning to mid-September? I'm not sure what you mean by mid-September, but towards the end of September, 2 weeks before. It's usually 2 weeks before. Like I think it's the end of September. Chicago Half Marathon. It's a pretty fast one. There is usually some pretty good competition as well. I say it's a pretty competitive one, and so I don't know that it gets like a huge elite field, but the finishing times are pretty quick. But that's going to be late September, so I'm not sure if that's what you're looking for. Other than that, I'm not sure. Phil says, is the FKT on the Heritage Trail still standing? No, someone beat it by like 40 minutes or 45 minutes. Someone destroyed it. There's a couple of colleges in the area, and then there's some sort of, I just think that there's a couple of maniacs that live in the area too that are not on Strava. I never see them around, but like they run in all the local like ultra races. So like they have profiles on Ultra Sign Up. So like, yeah, there's some really fast people. I'm not sure who the person that beat me, which category of people he falls into, but the person just destroyed it. It's just so fast that I'm like, no, I can't even bother trying to get it back. So I will not. But like, I feel like I made that course. I set it out, I submitted it and made the course. And so like, I think the most flattering thing that can happen to me is if I don't have it anymore. That means that someone else looked at it and said, oh, a 30-mile run, I want to do that too. And they also did it. And then they also like put in enough effort to beat me by 30 or 45 minutes. So I feel good about that. Tracy says, hi there. First time chiming in on the live stream. Awesome. Welcome. So what do you think about the Alphaflys for Boston? Good for the downhills? Yeah, I think it's fine for the down. I mean, people were saying like in Atlanta that would have been terrible for the downhills and the uphills because it's really a flat and fast shoe. I mean, and I think maybe it is, but I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of cushion that's going to absorb a lot of that impact for both the uphills and the downhills on that course. So I think that I would really like it. I don't think I've run something that has as much downhill as Boston does in the Alphaflys. The only thing close to that would be when I ran the Tunnel Marathon, which had a lot more downhill, but I ran that in the next percents. And that was great for that. So like it's a little bit different in terms of my direct experience, but I think the Alphaflys for Boston is going to be a pretty good choice. And Brian Gilbert says, as far as fast half marathons, the Surftown Half Marathon in Rhode Island. I'm not familiar with that one. Cool. James Aylward says, carbon insoles to insert into normal runners, are they a waste of money or a cheaper alternative to a carbon super shoe? I don't usually like insoles. I've tried them, and I know like there was a time, I think like in 2019, 2018, I felt like that was something that a lot of like running stores were starting to really push because it was a nice kind of like add-on. Kind of like they always try to sell you some socks or like like a foam roller or something. But I've tried to like them, but as someone that reviews shoes, it's not useful for me to run in an insole. But I also have never been like, oh yeah, I want to start putting this in all my shoes. And so like I don't love them, but I think that if you've tried them and you like them, then I think that's something worth looking into. But I will say like maybe they're a cheaper alternative to a carbon super shoe, but I'll tell you that like something that like all the shoes have, the reason why the stack heights are so big on these carbon plated shoes is because for the carbon to really work well and comfortably, like you need a certain amount of stack height below and above it for it to kind of like work well. That's the general. I mean, there's some exceptions. There's some shoes that are not built that way, but that's kind of like the one thing. And so if I'm just standing directly on it, I'm not sure that I would love that. I've seen like the Victory ones. Like there's the commercial of like the guy that like he bends the insole and he lets it go and it flies really high up in the air. Like that's a great demo. It feels like a supermarket demo to me. Like, look at how fast this nice chops. I can slice through a water bottle and then I could still slice through a tomato. Like it feels like that. Cause like think about how much that guy was like really like pushing down on that thing. I don't think I put a lot of force in. I don't know if I put that much force into it. I'm not that strong of a runner. So like I'm not sure. and I'm not that interested in trying on those. So like for me, they've never been that compelling of a product. But you know, if that's something that you want to try, I'd say try it. And then, you know, if you like it, then that's great. All right, let's do a couple more. And then I gotta get going today. I'm gonna go swim today. Normally I like do my run and then my swim, or swim and then I run away. But like I'm here at home by myself, so I'm like, oh, there's no hurry to squeeze in all my workout. So I came home, I took a shower, I ate lunch. I planned like a week's worth of videos. It's been relaxing. I miss my kids, but it's been really relaxing. All right. Yeah, Steven says Kofuzi single life. I mean, already today I'm like, I'm getting lonely. And I've been like by myself for like a day and a half. Sean Breen says you should get a pull boy. I have a pull boy. I love the pull boy. The problem is I think I love it too much. And so like I've been trying to weed myself off it because the triathlon is very soon. It's disturbingly soon. So yeah. Yeah, I wish I could swim in I wish I could swim the triathlon. If I could swim it with the pull boy, I mean, I know you're not allowed to, it's cheating, but like if I could, I wouldn't be worried about the swim. As it is, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna drown. I'm gonna be like I am like the people on the kayaks. Watch me. Give me about 8 minutes and you might have to come fish me out of the water. Dr. Vong 1216 says, I think every parent can relate to, I miss my kids, but it's relaxing. You know, you feel guilty about enjoying the time so much, but I really do. It's nice. And it says, you better mention you miss my wife as well. Of course I miss my wife too. Yes, I miss my wife too. I miss my wife and I miss the kids. And it's always saving me. Thanks for the reminder. All right. Frank wants to know, when is the bike coming? Super long story. One day one day maybe I'll tell you guys about it. But you know, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. But I bought a bike. I'll get it soon. So videos are coming soon. We'll see. And Dr. Funk says, are you just ordering takeout since you're living alone in the bachelor pad? No, I'm clearing out the fridge. I'm clearing out like the cupboards. I'm just eating like everything that like, this would be a weird meal. And like my family would be mad if I put this on the table. So I'm just like, I'm eating everything that everyone else wouldn't eat. So I'm actually really enjoying that too. All right, guys. Tomorrow's video is going to be about how to build a shoe rotation. So I feel like that's a video that's going to take a long time to make. And this is a really great time to do it because the kids aren't here and my wife's not here. So that'll be tomorrow's video, talking about a 1 shoe rotation all the way up to like a 4 shoe rotation. So we'll be talking about that. And then we'll do the live stream happy hour. I'm going to try 2 of those scratch products. Maybe I'll just do 1 and I'll do the next one the next week. Maybe we'll do both. I think I'll just do both of them since I got them at the same time. And the packaging looks super nice. So that's what I'll do tomorrow. Bring your recovery beverage of choice. I'd love to talk about what you guys are drinking as well. And I'll see you then. And in the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.